Welcome to Read It and Screech.
No, fuck, that is a photo. I got it.
Welcome to Read It and Screech, the middlesode. The middlesode. The middlesode. Welcome to the middle chode. Welcome to Read It and Screech, the middlesode. I'm your host, Grace, and this is my co-host, Eva. The tidbit middlesode, where we talk about tidbits. There is less reading, more screeching.
There's not less. She's lying. She still made us read a bunch. She only hears the homework.
30% more screeching. For free. Okay.
It's all free, so there's another lie.
Okay, who's going first? Oh, the category can be anything.
Could be that.
We're gonna get right into it.
Last time.
I went first last time with the mattress gate.
Oh, I have something that I don't think is akin to mattress gate, but I tried. I'm not going to use their government name. I saw this clip on the internet, and it reminded me of this story.
What was the clip?
So it was these. It was the video, and it was like the kids going, "Where's my dad?" Have you seen that?
It reminded you that we don't have a dad. Is that what it was?
Well, okay, so
lame.
You don't have a dad. You have to like learn how to do more things as a child. So like we had to learn, like we know how to change tires and like use jumper cables.
Sure.
And so like I was like, yeah, we know how to use jumper cables, stuff like that. So this girl was standing there holding the jumper cables, and they like the ends touched and they zapped, and she like threw it. And I was like, ha ha ha.
Were you that girl?
No. Okay. I know how to use jumper cables, but it reminded me of this time in high school when a certain individual who is an 18 or 19-year-old man was standing in the parking lot trying to jump his car because he had let it die. And there was a group of people, and he was just going, I don't know where to put him. I don't know where. And we drove by.
This feels like it's not embarrassing for you.
Are you ready for it? Wait for it. You're going to love this. And Mom was like, and I was like, Mom. And she was like, don't say stuff like that, Eva. And I was like, can we tell him how to do it? Because he can't do it. She was like, they won't like to hear that from you. Fast forward to 2 weeks ago. We stopped at the grocery store for some fruits and vegetables. And this man was in the parking lot, and Grace walked by him, and he shoved a shopping cart at her aggressively and said, take this up for me. There you go. That was my story. Jumper cable boy. In my phone, it said, he stood there with a thumb up his ass, trying to jump his own car. But I couldn't use the notes on my phone because I'd used my phone to film this. So now it just says, boy standing in parking lot, stupid cart, couldn't jump car.
As soon as you said the jumper cables, I knew exactly who it was. I don't even think I was there for that. It just seemed like that's what he would do.
I was like, Mom, should we help them? She goes, they don't want to hear that information from you. Leave. They don't want your help. Let them call AAA.
How is that embarrassing for you? My story was embarrassing for me.
You didn't say it.
I was rejected by a man who has sex on a mattress I gave him.
You never said it should be embarrassing. You said it had to be a story about
a
celebrity.
Said it was funny. It was similar.
I thought
okay.
Like it because it was fun. Because he tried to aggressively get you to take a shopping cart.
I already knew he was a moron. He had to do senior year 3 times. You didn't have to prove that to me.
We could just say his name now because you told everyone in this town. He was like, take this in for me. And she was like, what? And he goes, take it in for me. The kicker was he was parked like 15 feet outside the door.
No, he was in the first spot. He was in the closest spot to the door.
And I didn't hear or see this. I was like trucking. I was like inside.
No, this
and I missed it. And I really had
we were walking into the grocery store. If I had seen
this person, because we knew him from high school, I would have been like, see you in hell, bitch.
I was like a putz. I was like, yo, take it, no problem. What I need to know is your opinion on an opinion piece. Your opinion. When is it okay to be barefoot amongst the public?
This feels like a trick.
No, it's not a trick.
I don't want to.
It's not a trick at all. I'm just genuinely curious.
When is it okay to be happening?
Okay, the reason why I thought about this was because I was thinking about Walgreens.
The woman who works at Walgreens.
We went to Walgreens. There was a woman there. She was a cashier. She was barefoot. And I thought to myself, when is it okay to be? Because I feel like it's not never, but I also can't think of a time where it is, you know? Like aside from the beach or the pool, can you be, where's the faux pas?
Do you know what happened to me the other day? This pertains to this.
Barefoot at Walgreens?
So when you say, when is it okay to be barefoot in public? And you think about the random people that walk around barefoot. Somebody liked a random Facebook post and I went, who is this person? I don't know them. And I clicked on what they had liked. And it was a very aggressive thing that I wrote on Facebook in the middle of COVID. And it was a review for a restaurant downtown that someone had smashed a plate in front of, and then they didn't clean it up for 2 weeks. And my quote was, what if someone steps on this?
And they're barefoot.
And they're barefoot, or it's a kid, or it's a dog, or like, what the fuck? We'll accompany with a photo tomorrow if you don't clean this the fuck up.
That's hilarious.
So that was a Yelp review I did in the middle of the pandemic. So there you go. I apparently don't think it's appropriate to ever do that.
Well, apparently you just expect people to be barefoot because if there's, God forbid, a plate broken.
No, I think it was mostly where I was.
People might step on it.
I was worried about dogs and children falling because children fall on their hands and knees.
Or people walk around.
But apparently people walk with their talons out.
Because I went to a baby shower and I wore these shoes that were very uncomfortable.
You had your feet out?
I had a pair of boots on with socks. I want to know how bad it was, what I did.
Very.
And I had boots on and I was wearing tights with a
Sit in
dress.
judgment.
They had a bunch of those tables that are like standing height instead of chairs.
You set the boots on top of your feet? You just pretend that you had shoes on?
No, I just had it right next
Do you remember we went to that concert and you had to change your shoes and wear Crocs?
It was the same shoes.
Maybe you should not wear those shoes anymore.
The thing about the shoes is they're not that uncomfortable.
Apparently they are.
But if you have to stand in them for like 3 hours, they begin to get uncomfortable. And in
Okay.
both of these instances, I did not know. Because concerts, they usually have a place to sit. And so do baby showers.
Baby showers, yes. Concerts, not really.
Whatever. Okay, your turn.
That was your shoe?
That was
the
my
whole
thing.
one?
I wanted to know because I was
Okay.
thinking back and I thought, how embarrassed should I be about this?
Did you know that there is a new rule coming into like the new school year that they have to report their absences to the DMV after a certain amount
I've been
of
doing that for a long time.
Well, apparently not every state. But now like I guess it's a whole thing. And so I guess more states or all states are doing it. Where if you miss a certain amount of days, the school reports it and you will lose your license. But one guy, I was like looking at it, and this one guy goes, yeah, well, he caught his principal and vice principal fucking on the desk, and they gave him his license back. So he found a way around that. I guess they weren't married to each other. And he said, I guess he would go
even
into
if they
the
were,
office.
I don't think having sex on school property is appropriate.
And I
If
guess
you're
he
married,
was
you can just
going-
fuck anywhere you want. That's not a rule.
They didn't want to be caught. They were having an affair, but I guess he was going to like appeal his like license suspensions or whatever write-ups, and he literally was going for that meeting. He opened the door and they were fucking on the desk.
Did you know that Russia uses inflatables to make their military look more robust? They use like inflatable tanks.
That makes I thought you meant I legitimately thought you meant like inflatable sex dolls standing in like low-key like Family Opera does for the masquerade scene when there's cardboard cutouts standing. Masquerade! Faces on like, they're just like hold up for take the photo.
No, they use inflatable
Tanks.
and like guns and stuff. So in order to make it look like their military is bigger than it is, and like there's always satellites and stuff, they literally will inflate a tank, and then they to the satellites it looks like
So
they have a
maybe they
bunch
do
of
also
tanks.
do the doll thing.
They could. She's like, I'm way ahead of you.
You can take that idea and do with it what you will.
I thought that was hilarious. It was so
So now I have
hilarious.
a
Like a
series-
bouncy castle. But it's a tank. The
You
party
can tell me anything.
like a party supply store.
Right. So now I have a list for you of dates and time frames of like weird things and
Okay.
interesting things. The first one is there is a company in Japan that gives its employees who don't smoke an extra 6 vacation days every year to make up for the cigarette breaks that the smoking employees take. And I think they are so real for that.
Yeah,
like
they are. That's real.
because people take them 15 minutes at a time while you're like still like busted ass. People hate that, and
I
everyone
wonder if that
knows.
would be enough for someone to quit smoking.
No, that's what they said. They said that some people will like be like, okay, well, I want that week off, and they'll quit.
My husband wouldn't.
Well, yeah. You feel like,
He'd be like, take my vacations little bits at a time.
okay, so I have kind of a pile. You want 2 at a time?
No, because I've got a pile too.
Okay.
That Whole Foods used to get their goat cheese and tilapia from prison work programs because it was way cheaper than getting it from anywhere else.
Did you know that most shit comes from prison? Did you know Billy Graham's coffin came from prison?
That's interesting.
Your mom told me. And
Oh.
apparently there's a 6-month line for those coffins.
Wait. How is there a 6-month waiting period for coffins?
Everybody wants those. them.
But how do you
They're handmade.
how do you plan that?
Some people buy them and just like keep them.
Okay.
They're old, they're gonna die.
How do you know? I can't go yet. I've got 6 months on my coffin.
People buy like
That's why I wish to be incinerated, and then I can just go
Carried around?
wherever. Yeah.
Look me. Sometimes people leave those places too, like
Okay,
in
let's do
storage units. Did you know that the fax machine was invented as the first wagon crosses the Oregon Trail in 1843?
Oh, I did not know that.
Trippy balls, right? So they were doing the
In
Pony,
1843.
apparently. They were doing Pony Express, and then I guess someone was inventing the fax machine while they were Oregon trailing. When you do history, I think it should be laid out like one big board, and you should see them running congruently, and then you could see like what was happening at the
Yeah,
same
when I
time.
did my social studies certification, that's what I had to do. I'm telling you, you're right. They were like, study it this way, and it was correct. You are correct.
There was this really interesting lady.
Damn.
There's a really
Sorry for the fucking compliment.
That wasn't a compliment. There's a really interesting woman who talks about how, especially America, but other countries, but mostly America, does this thing where they're too country centric. We are pumped from the tip of our toes, up our anuses, and through the top of our heads. Freedom! Everything is free! That doesn't mean you can do whatever the fuck you
What does
want.
that have to do with Matt?
America's in the middle of the map. Everyone's free. Free doesn't mean do whatever the fuck you want.
Did you know that Volkswagen, cars these days, they'll have the electronic system where they can be unlocked by,
Yes.
okay, so this toddler was stuck in a Volkswagen and the police called Volkswagen and they said, hey, we need you to unlock this car because there's a toddler stuck in it. And Volkswagen said,
They said no, right?
only for $150.
I thought you were going to say only for the owner or
That
something.
is capitalism for you. No, by the time that they did it, they had already gotten the car open a different way. But Volkswagen said, fuck them kids.
Fuck them kids and fuck you too. Did you know that Princess Diana died just a few days before Mother Teresa?
I think I did read that somewhere.
Yeah, that one's a more popular one.
Did you know that Kanye West, I know, he got liposuction?
Oh my god.
Did you know that?
No.
Do you know why he got liposuction? Quote, I don't want to be the Rob Kardashian of the family.
That's why you don't hang out with them.
And then he's like, why are the Kardashians mean to me? Can you imagine? He said, I don't want y'all treating me like you treat Rob.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know which one to do.
I'm like, well, first of all, they shouldn't have been mean to Rob.
right.
That way Kanye wouldn't have been afraid of looking
Afraid
like
of
Rob.
retribution.
Not because your wife is Kim and you want to keep up, but because you don't want to be like her fat
Keeping up with
brother.
the Kardashians. Staying away from Rob Kardashian.
Would you get plastic surgery if you were afraid you were turning into one of your in-laws?
No.
I would. If I could afford it and I was turning into like my mother-in-law, just for the fact I don't want to look like my mother-in-law.
Here's the thing.
Like,
not
I don't
from
want to look like my husband's
From
mom.
not looking like them, no. From not being them, yes. Did you know that you could take the London Underground to the last public execuation in 1868?
I'm actually impressed that the last public execution was that long
That's the
ago.
point.
I thought it was like 20 years ago.
No, the public like hanging, like
Yeah,
guillotine,
yeah.
like
I thought the last guillotine use was in like the 70s.
that is
Was that in
in
private?
this one, and that was in France,
Or
and
it was
that
in
was
private.
And no, it was not. Star Wars came out at the same year as the last guillotine in France, and that was 1977.
So the last
Star
public
Wars film.
execution in the UK.
Yes, but this was Britannia. You could take the subway.
Okay, that is weird.
Right? This one's stupid. Lincoln was shot just weeks before the Secret Service was formed. That feels like a duh.
Cause and effect.
Right, like Harriet the tortoise died at 175 years old. She was collected by Charles Darwin, and the picture that they had of her was of her with Steve Irwin.
Oh, I thought she was still alive.
No, she died
Oh, that's
somewhere around 2006.
very interesting.
She lived for 175 years. She lived until at least 2006.
Okay.
She was pictured with Steve Irwin in that photo.
All right, my last one is, have you heard of the serial killer of Heilbronn?
No.
She evaded, she was a female. She evaded capture for 15 years. She was linked to murders for a bunch of different like crime cartels in multiple different countries. They could find no other physical evidence aside from her DNA. Every single crime they did where they swabbed for DNA, they found this lady's DNA. They found no other evidence. They linked her to all these different crime things.
She worked there.
She made the swabs.
Oh my god, it was the guy who did that!
She made the swabs.
Girl!
She
There was
was
one
just
of-
some factory.
Yeah,
lady.
it was this factory, and yeah,
And
these...
those were all separate crimes. They were not related.
related whatsoever.
Cold Case or whatever did one of those, and the guy had a sweat condition, and he worked in the swab factory, and they were like, "Bro,
Yeah, that means if you like weren't,
you sweated on all of this."
What if you just wanted the swabs for like cosmetic, and you were like taking your makeup off in his sweat? This has been the Middlesode. Thank you for listening to Read It and Screech. You can rate, review, and subscribe.
or do, bitch. Here's the thing.
You don't have to listen. You can just subscribe and then just
Here's the thing.
push it to the side.
Have you ever seen those fucking guys who they're about to do something like a weird magic trick? They're like, "What happens if you put the tinfoil in the fire?"
But before that,
Before you do